Ryan for that introduction. All right. Well, as we all know, we're here today to celebrate the graduation of the LCHS class of 2024. Now, we do this with the final humiliation of having them sit in the bleachers while wearing single-use shower curtains. Just to torture them some more, I am tempted to make this speech extra long. But that wouldn't be fair to all of you. Zach, there we go. Now, I'm realizing I'm no longer a district employee, and I'm not actually looking for a job in Montana, so I can say just about anything I want. The power. You notice that I brought my own speech. It's basically the same as in the binder. All right. Now, when I worked here, I taught English to the vast majority of each 10th grade class, and the class of 2024 is the last 10th grade class I taught before I moved back to Vermont. Now, that kind of does make me wonder why they invited me, because each prior class made me say, okay, I'll teach for one more year. But I left right after teaching them. Okay, truthfully though, class of 2024, I moved back to Vermont to be close to my parents because they're old now.
I knew it.
Now, while one of you made my decision to leave quite easy, the rest of you made that decision really difficult. I'm just kidding. It was at least two of you who made my decision easy. Okay, in seriousness though, I would like to take a moment to recognize each and every one of you individually for the valuable people you are. Obviously, we don't have time for that either, but please know that each of you is truly important. Now, I'm probably supposed to deliver some inspiring words in this speech, and I'm going to say keep your expectations low, because I wrote this speech like I planned almost every single lesson, right at the last second. Now, speaking of expectations, if you have low expectations for yourselves, you will meet your expectations every time. If you aim for the bare minimum, you will achieve the bare minimum. But if you have high expectations for yourself, you might actually be amazed at what you can accomplish. And this applies to other people too. If you communicate high expectations for the people around you, they will also achieve at a higher level. But if in your mind you privately, secretly, you keep low expectations for everyone around you and everyone else, you'll always be amazed at what other people are accomplishing. Now, if you privately and secretly expect perfection out of everyone, you're always going to be disappointed. Now, this expectations thing I think is working, so I'm going to stick with it. You should expect to improve at just about everything you do over time. Even if you think you're awesome at stuff now, you'll probably get better at it if you keep doing those things. I was much better at teaching in 2022 when I left than when I first arrived here in 2015. So if there's anyone from the class of 2018 here, that was the first 10th grade class I taught, thank you for being my guinea pigs. Now, if you expect to improve, you also need to expect to keep learning. I'm not working in a school currently. I'm currently working in emergency medical services. And I work a lot of Friday nights, usually with the same group of 3 other people. And I love my Friday night crew because we all have different backgrounds, different passions, different opinions. And somehow I'm in charge of the shift. Allegedly, I guess I have the most experience, and maybe overall I do know the job the best. But each person on that crew is way better than me at certain parts of the job. And so every time we go out on an ambulance call, I get to learn by watching my crew members do things better than me. And without actually seeing a better example, it wouldn't be so obvious where I have room to improve. So everywhere you go that has people, I mean, we're in Montana, there's a lot of places that don't have any people. But everywhere you go that has people, there are people that you can learn from. And the more you keep yourself open to that learning, the more you'll learn. And the world is changing fast. Technology, I can't even keep up with technology. I mean, I'm glad I stopped teaching before the AI thing came out. I don't know what everyone's just using Chat GPT to write their essays now, right? You can admit it, I'm not here. All right, so if the world's changing that fast, you need to be prepared to keep learning, right? Jobs that you're preparing for now might not actually exist in 10 years even, right? We can't predict these things, so you better be prepared to just learn something new all the time. Now, this speech wouldn't be complete without one of my favorite vocabulary words. Can anyone guess? Nuance, there we go. Now, our human brains would love it if everything was just so simple. Yes, no, black, white, us, them, right, wrong, up, down, down, left, right. Oh, some of you got that joke. Almost nothing actually is that simple, though. Notice how I said almost nothing? Let's be careful with our absolute words. In nearly every situation, there's something more to learn, some extra detail to add, some new piece of information that might change your mind, or might even change the way you see the whole world. In almost every situation where people are drawing lines in the sand or looking for simple answers to complex problems, there's room for nuance. Now, I could go on and on for hours with life advice and how to stay sane in an increasingly crazy world. Like literally hours, you know this. Like I could go for hours on this, yeah, right? But I'm just going to share a few of my strategies. First, I remember that if something is on the national news, that's because it's weird, not because it's normal. So I don't use the national news to guide my life that much. Right? It's far more common, we're going to go into emergency world here, it's far more common to die in a car crash than in a plane crash. Airplane crashes make it on the national news every single time. Car crashes, they only make it in the local newspaper. So I find a lot more value in local newspapers than I do in national television. Although I recognize that you don't watch television anymore, you get it all through your phones and your doom scrolling TikTok, you-twit face things, right? So anytime I say television, you're going to hear some mentions of televisions later. Just replace that with phone, maybe, or the news you get from the phone. I also find a lot of mental clarity and a sense of calm from spending time being active outdoors, whether that's gardening, running, or any number of other activities, like running. Now, if you were hoping this would be short and sweet from me, I have one more bit of torture. I wrote a song for you. Yeah. Well, I wrote most of the words. I stole the music from country music legend John Prine, and again, I make some mentions of a television in here. Fill in the blanks on your use of phones and stuff. And I'm also going to play it on a mandolin that I borrowed from Mr. Day, and I don't really play the mandolin that well. So let's go back to our expectations here. Let's keep them low. And here we go. Probably the wind's going to kick up and blow this away from me too. The odds that this thing stayed in tune. If I can get both of these here. Here we go. You are the graduating seniors in the class of 24, and I came back to speak because apparently you wanted more. So I sat down on my thinking toilet and I wrote a song for you, filled with words of wisdom for what you ought to do. Blow up your TV, buy your local paper, plant a little garden, go for a run, keep on learning, eat a lot of huckleberries, wear your seatbelt, go for a run. Well, out there in the world these days, there's garbage going on, and that's the way it's been on earth from dawn to dusk to dawn. But look around and you will find great things happening too. Focus on the local needs and you'll see what to do. Blow up your TV, buy the local paper, plant a little garden, go for a run, keep on learning, eat a lot of huckleberries, wear your seatbelt, go for a run. So there's the song, it wasn't long, but mostly out of tune. Make good choices out in life, and especially this afternoon. I'm glad to be here on the stage, speaking to your class. If you weren't such a decent bunch, I'd have told you to kiss my... If you weren't such a decent bunch, I'd have told you I have to pass. Blow up your TV, buy the local paper, plant a little garden, go for a run, keep on learning, eat a lot of huckleberries, wear your seatbelt, go for a run.